Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. I am a spiritual mentor. All of my content here is about healing you and helping you reach your highest self. If it's your first time seeing me, go ahead and like this video because I know you're gonna like it already. Subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you never miss another upload. And if you already are subscribed, hey babies, welcome back. Our affirmation card for today's video says, I am beautiful and everybody loves me. I am beautiful and everybody loves me. The back of this card says, I radiate acceptance and I am deeply loved by others. Love surrounds me and protects me. I radiate acceptance and I am deeply loved by others. Love surrounds me and protects me. So yes, beautiful affirmation to get us started off for today's video. So today, I wanted to talk to you all about disappointment, and like the title of the video says, a new approach to disappointment. I feel like, of course, disappointment is something that we are definitely gonna have to get familiar with, and I feel like this is definitely something I learned very on in relationships, just how important it could be to be okay with being disappointed, to be okay with being let down, and what that really, really means, and how sometimes disappointment can stop us from so much, hold us back from so much, and really put us in spaces where we rather be stagnant than get disappointed. We rather be in the same situation than try and fail. And I think having a new approach to disappointment will really allow you to change your life and change how you feel about the ups and downs in life. Because let's be real, we all know by now that it's never going to be good all the time. There's only been a couple of weeks in 2023, and I'm sure you've already had a bad day. You know what I'm saying? I literally was sick for a week. So I think that disappointment is something that we experience all the time, and a lot of times disappointment is really just boiled into us not getting what we want when we want it, us not having what we need when we feel like we need it, even though we know that no matter what happens, we're always going to have what we need when we need it. That's the ego in us that tells us, I need to get it right now, and if I don't get the job that I want right now, I'm never going to be able to get a good job. Like, if I get told no by this person, no one's ever going to love me. If I don't get approved for this house, I'm never going to get the house of my dreams. Like, when in reality, redirection is hidden in disappointment, failure, mistakes, heartbreak, rough lessons, hard truths, shadow work, ego death. The only way to get redirection, the only way to get sent in a direction of the things that you need and want when you're on a path that might necessarily not be in line with those things is to fail. If you feel like you have to do A, B, C, and D to get this certain, goal, and God knows that A, B, C, and D is not going to get you there, the only way you can really get there is to fail, and I feel like our plan is not always God's plan. We know this. I've always heard that God's thoughts aren't like ours. His plan is not like ours. His time is not like ours. And that's very, very true. But again, I feel like it's ego that makes us feel like I'm doing the right things. I'm doing all of my work. I'm not getting something. There has to be a disconnect when the something you may need is the disappointment. The something you may need is the failure, is the redirection, is the opportunity to kind of pivot into a different direction that's going to serve you better. And I had a lot of interactions with quite a few of you guys. Since the new year started, I've definitely started a lot of mentorships and a lot of solo tarot courses. You can book mentorships with me, solo tarot courses, business reboots, all of that good stuff at the link in the description box. And I've been doing a lot of those, and a lot of people have been saying that these first couple of weeks have been rough. In spite of them starting these new journeys and stepping to these new spaces, they have been knocked down a little bit. And I think it's important to understand that that is a part of life. And no matter how many times we fall as adults, we are still so surprised when something doesn't go our way. Like, it's so fascinating to me because as children, we learn this is hot, you don't touch it. You get burned once, you don't touch it again. If I get on my bike and I do this, I'm going to fall, so I'm not going to do this again. Like, we kind of learn maybe to avoid failure so much as children. Well, maybe that's where it comes from, that in our childhood, we're kind of taught to avoid failure, avoid wrong things, avoid pain. And when we become adults, it's inevitable, because you cannot control your job. You cannot control your partner. You cannot control your children. You really can't even control where you live. You can't control your neighbors. You can't control if they raise the rent, if your mortgage falls. You can't control any of that. And I feel like a lot of times we're kind of just taught to be in control, and that control equals comfort, control equals success, control equals safety. And that isn't necessarily always the case, because doing the same thing that you've always done isn't necessarily going to make you safe. There can always be a monkey wrench or something from the outside thrown into whatever you're doing, and it can totally, set you off from the path that you were once on. So having a new approach to disappointment basically looks like finding the redirection in your disappointment. When someone cheats on you, when someone lies to you, when someone doesn't show up, when your birthday dress doesn't come in, when nobody comes to your birthday party, when you create, this business and you don't have any sales in the first month, when you have a lot of sales and then no sales, when you try to do something different and then that makes everything tank, when you start doing these YouTube videos and it takes you, a year to get 100 subscribers or who knows how long, and you thought you were going to be able to do it in 6 weeks, there's always an opportunity to figure out, how can I learn from this uncomfortable, unfortunate situation? How can I learn from this? And even if there isn't anything that I can learn from this, how can I be humble in this situation? Because even if you're in a situation that doesn't work, it's not always a learning experience. Sometimes you cannot even pull a lesson from something because it's so fucked up. It's made you so depressed. It's made you so sad. It's made you so angry. You're so disappointed. You can't even figure out what the fuck you can do with this disappointment. It seems so pointless to you. It seems so worthless. You don't even know what you can pull from it, how you can make it benefit you in the long run. So be humble in those moments. Sometimes humility is the best way to go. Humility for me just looks like I am no more deserving than the next person of success. And if we were all supposed to be destined for success every day of our lives, there would be no poverty, there would be no drug addicts, there would literally be no homelessness, there would be no disease. Everybody would just be living their best life, doing their thing, and that is not the case. So obviously there's going to be a bad day. What makes me think that I am, so shielded from disappointment or failure that people can lose their entire family in a weekend? That people can lose their job and not be able to take care of their kids and not lose their children. That people can be in a marriage for 10, 13, 15, 25 years and find out that person has cheated on them the entire time and they have to start up from scratch. Do I think it's that big of a deal that my wig didn't come in on time? Do I think it's that big of a deal that, I have to ask for an extension on some of my bills and that might make me uncomfortable? Do I think it's that big of a deal that maybe I don't get to go on these trips because I have to use this money for bills and for loans instead of what I thought I was going to be able to use it for? And even if you are in rough situations of sickness or, being really, really down financially or being really down mentally, there is always an opportunity for you to appreciate stillness and appreciate mindfulness in those situations. And there is definitely always something to be grateful for. And I've been in many, many low spaces, financially, mentally, physically, literally across the board. I have grieved like you would not believe. I have lost everything and gained everything back and lost it again and gained it again. So I've definitely lived a lot. And I know it's very easy in this space to say, be grateful no matter what. But when you're in those low spaces, finding something to be grateful for, finding something to hold on to, keeps you humble and it keeps you connected to God no matter what. Because when you feel like God has told you no so many times, and you can remember the time God told you yes, sometimes that's enough to make you feel good. Sometimes that's enough to get you out of that slump. When you feel like you've gotten a string of failures back to back to back to back to back, and then you remember the one time that things pulled through for you, sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes all you need is a reminder that, hey, I used to be happy. Hey, I used to be successful. Hey, I used to be in a space where it seemed like everything was working out great for me. And that can even sometimes be a little sad to kind of look back on moments where you used to be so good. But for me, if I did it once, I can do it again. If I pull myself out of a dark space once, I can do it again. And if it's your first time being in a space of disappointment, if you are venturing out into adulthood, venturing out into, motherhood, being a wife, being a husband, starting a business, going back to school, if you're doing things for the first time, buying a home, whatever the case may be, there are absolutely going to be bumps in the road. Absolutely, it's going to be big bumps. And the reason there's going to be big bumps is because no long journey that is going to give you so much love, peace, security, blessings, understanding, clarity, safety. Nothing that's going to be giving you all of that is going to come with nothing on the back end. There's always a balance. It takes you a long time to close on a home and move in that home and decorate that home and furnish that home. It takes you a long time to build a marriage. It takes you a long time to parent a child. You parent a child as long as they're alive and as long as you're alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, great things come To those who wait, great things take a lot of time, great things take a lot of effort. And I feel like, you know, we have definitely been in a microwave generation forever, but it's even more so now that we're seeing people say, see how I made 100K in 6 weeks. See how I made 30K in 2 days. You know, like, we have people who have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of social media attention, talking to people who have no social media attention, you know, and are trying to kind of coach people down here in numbers and engagement on how to achieve what they achieved and they're up here, you know, like, and we have that being represented in all spaces. You have people who are in great marriages that are like, wow, marriage is amazing, marriage is awesome, marriage is great. And you can talk to somebody that's been in a bunch of terrible relationships back to back. They cannot necessarily relate to you, but you want what they have. So you're going to try to aspire to be that. You're going to try to model your life after that, even though it's two totally different situations. You're literally setting yourself up for disappointment over and over and over again in a situation like that. That's how most of what we consume on social media is. That's why I try to be very transparent with y'all and very real with y'all and let y'all know, hey, if I could do it, you literally could do it. I'm the most normal motherfucker on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a lot of times, you know, a lot of people that we look at on social media had a lot of help from family, had different sponsors, help from men or women that paid for their first camera or bought them their first, you know, luxury apartment, or paid for them to get their first car, or people have put them on or got them shouted out, or they went viral one time, or, you know, it's a lot of different things that can set people up for success. It's a lot of different places where people can be handed things, and everyone is not going to be handed things in their journey. Some people won't get handed nothing. I'm still waiting on a handout from somebody, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's just something else that kind of leads us into a space of being disappointed. Looking at people, learning from people, trying to follow behind people, trying to be mentored by people that cannot relate to us if they wanted to, you know? So I think it's, of course, important to be mindful of what you consume, because that can also lead you in a space of disappointment and jealousy, feeling inferior, you know, feeling all of these insecurities that maybe you never even realized. So there's disappointment, but there's also like, dang, I don't have this. But I don't have this because I don't look like her. I don't have this because I can't travel like she does. I don't have this because I don't have the money to go back to school. I don't have this because I'll never find somebody like they found somebody, you know? So I feel like just understanding disappointment in a different way and understanding the ways that disappointment can kind of show you what you really want, why you really want it, different things that you might need to do, different angles you might need to take, and just kind of, you know, allows you to take a step back and humble yourself more than anything, and understand no matter how hard I want something, no matter how much I do to align with it or get myself in the space to manifest whatever I want, I will get what God has for me. And sometimes you can think that God has certain things for you, and maybe you haven't lived enough to understand, okay, God don't mean this, he mean this, you know, because sometimes you may feel like, oh, you know, this is the person I need to be with. You can feel that so strongly. And the person that you really need to be with could be 5 partners down the line, but you need that commitment in each relationship to get what you need to get out the relationship. You know, you could invest all of your money and all of your time and energy into every career option that is presented to you, because in your mind, you all in all the time. And you could keep getting disappointed as you get fired, as you never get the promotion, as you get let go. But in those spaces, getting set up to step into something better. And I'm sure that people always say, I'm sure I always say that every time. And I know that I've noticed in my videos too, y'all, that I don't really be looking at y'all no more when I'm doing videos. I kind of be looking everywhere. But I don't really take notes anymore for my videos. So most of the time, I'm really just kind of having conversations with myself, with y'all here. And I'm kind of just talking through downloads and talking through stuff that comes to me. So that's why I'm looking everywhere. But I'm going to try to work better at looking at y'all. But yeah. I definitely feel, you know, there are always opportunities to set us up for something better and something greater. And that can be very, very, very frustrating and very, very annoying and obnoxious to hear, especially when you've been in the same situation for months or years. Like, I don't want to hear that something better is on the way. I want to get to something better right now. And I understand that, but that's why we have disappointment, to humble us and to remind us that we are not more worthy or more less worthy. We are all worthy of success. You know, we are all worthy of success. We're all on the same playing field. No matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter what skills you have, no matter who you came from, you have an opportunity to get what God has for you. We all have the same choice, but we're also not going to be giving these things on a silver platter. You know, it might be a silver platter, But on the outside of that platter, you might have some barbed wire. It might shock you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to go through some things and learn some things, because when you get in these situations, the career, the house, the kids, the marriage, the travel, whatever you're looking to step into, whenever you get into that, it's going to require a certain amount of skills, a certain amount of discipline, a certain amount of love and commitment to really sustain those things in your life. And I definitely feel that we don't necessarily appreciate things when they're just given to us, you know? And I feel like we see stories all the time, you know, about people who grew up, you know, super, super rich, where they were always given everything and they never had to ask for anything. They might not necessarily value money the same versus someone who grew up on government assistance, whole lot of siblings, single mom was always at work, you know, felt lucky to get something for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? So it all goes into perspective. And I feel like when we are adults, you know, our only parent, the only parent that we really have to follow or, you know, be led by really is God. And I feel like it's kind of similar to when we have, you know, parents that might teach us certain things and reward us when we do well. And, you know, as we continue to learn and grow and expand, you know, they pour into us. I feel like God just represents the ultimate energy of a parent. You know, someone who has made you, someone who has created you, someone who literally dedicates all of their time and their energy into seeing that you are the best person that you can be. But just like a parent, you know, or any outside force, this energy cannot force us to do certain things. You know, God cannot force you to be grateful. God cannot force you to believe in yourself. God cannot force you to be humble or to realize, like, yes, you're down right now, but you won't always be down. God can't do that. God cannot do those things. God can only put you in those situations. It's up to you to decide, okay, I want to feel better. I don't want to keep feeling like this. I want something different. I want something new. So
Editing Christian here, guys. I wanted to say a little something about, you know, how God cannot put certain thoughts or certain energies in you if they're not there. God obviously can do anything. But, you know, I feel like there's many times where God can give us signs that it's okay, it's going to work out. But our own thoughts of doubt can kind of block those signals. And even though God is telling us everything is going to be okay, we still are doubting ourselves every single day. So obviously God can literally put anything inside of your brain. But I feel like a big part of life is the challenge to, you know, be grateful in spite of. And, you know, that's life's lesson.
disappointment is always going to happen. It's going to continuously happen over and over and over again. We're always going to be disappointed no matter what. And I'm sure if you try, you can find something to be disappointed in every single fucking day. Literally, you can. But you can also find many, many more things to be grateful for every single day. It's all about what you focus on, and what you focus on, you'll attract. And if you change your relationship to disappointment won't represent the same thing to you. You'll rejoice when things don't work out because you know it's going to turn around into something better. You'll rejoice when you call that job that was supposed to give you 75 grand a year and they say, nah, we don't want you. And you get a call from another one that was supposed to give you 140 a year and they say, nah, we don't want you. And you hold out for the one that's going to give you 175 with the benefits, you know what I'm saying, and a travel package. Hello. Like, you keep hoping and you keep looking and you keep being expectant, and you get more and more expectant as things get more and more difficult, because the harder a space is, the bigger the reward that you're going to get on the outside from being in that space. And it's very, very true. If you're someone who, you know, reads the Bible or just, you know, focuses on life in general as it is, I always feel like we are tested greatly before we are entering spaces of success, before we're entering spaces that we have kind of needed to be in all along. You know, I feel like we are all destined for greatness. I feel like we're all destined for happiness. We are all supposed to be at our highest level, at our highest self, feeling the highest possible emotions that we can, you know, love, happiness, understanding, clarity, patience. We're supposed to be feeling all of those things. And there's a lot of different tests and trials that we all have to go through in order to get to that space. Disappointment is a big, big part of that. And disappointment is going to happen in a bunch of different ways, but disappointment is always an opportunity to learn, or again, to just be humble. And it's a blessing to be humble. It's a blessing to just understand the part that you play in everyone's life around you, and also the part that they play in your life as well, because you could definitely have a lot of disappointments coming back to back because of the energies that you're consuming, you know. So figure out what you can learn in spaces of disappointment. Figure out how you can reflect in spaces of disappointment. Figure out how it's affecting you, what it's affecting, and, you know, also lean on your support system. If you've been trying something over and over and over again and you keep getting knocked down and you need some motivational words, tap into your support system. And if you don't have any, then I'm going to give you some right now. Obviously, you're very talented. You're very gifted. You are very special. It's only one of you. You're supposed to do exactly what the fuck you're doing right now. Do not doubt yourself. Do not question yourself. You have no reason to be insecure. There is nobody that can give the world what you can give. Nobody. Like, it doesn't matter if you have a twin. It don't matter. They got 3 of y'all. It does not matter. There is nobody that can give the world what you have to give. You have a gift that is so special and so unique that your sperm won the race and you were the one that was chosen to be fucking born. So now you have to walk into your birthright. You know, you are here, so you are royalty. You know, you are chosen to be here in this space, and there is something very beautiful and very grand that is perfectly and specifically designed just for you. Can't nobody else get it. Can't nobody else snatch it from you. It is yours. And it's going to be waiting there, whether you get it at 85, 65, 95, whether you get it tomorrow, whether you already got it, it's waiting there for you. And it doesn't mean when you get it, it's going to be honky-dory. There's still going to be lessons in it, but you'll see it differently. You'll appreciate it differently, and it'll mean something different to you. So yes, I appreciate y'all. I thank you guys for being here and listening to my spiel about a new approach to disappointment. Let me know how you guys have been experiencing disappointment. Let me know how you guys have been feeling about things that have been transpiring this year. If you've already had some rough moments this year, then let me know how those things have been affecting you. And if you're ready for this spring equinox, if you're ready for the nature new year, the natural new year, and if you're ready, you know, for these new energies that are coming your way, because there's always something beautiful coming after a storm. Always, always, always. So yes, I appreciate you guys. I thank you guys for being in this space with me, and I hope you guys are feeling absolutely incredible. I thank you guys for listening. And of course, if you guys are interested in anything, the readings, the podcast, apothecary, all of the tea, check down below in the description box, and I will tap in with you guys later. Bye guys. Bless.